This is the Oddball Show, a podcasting collaboration, JP Live Production, and Oddball Magazine.
Good evening, all you heroes and villains. This is indeed the Oddball Show, and I am Prof, your interplanetary Uber driver for this fantastic voyage. I represent the JP Lime side of the Oddball Show Starship, and manning the guns is my co-host, the founder and editor-in-chief of Oddball Magazine, and rumored fifth member of the Monkees. Please say hello to Mr. Jason Wright.
Fifth member of the Monkees. What does that one mean?
I don't know. Somebody told me that.
Did you just make that up?
I heard somebody told me that a long time ago about you.
Let's see. Let me think. How many? There was David. I don't even know the Monkees.
Davy Jones, and then three other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was I would be like 70, Prof, if I was one of the.
I suppose that's true. You're actually pretty dead on. They are that old, and I think they might be going back on tour, which is pretty awesome. So we should go.
Prof, I'm gonna get you tickets, man, and we're gonna go.
Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Hey, we're the Monkees.
Hey, how's your day been, man? How's your Tuesday?
Dude, I love my job as a certified peer specialist. I think it's a great job. I can't complain. I had a great day today. I help people move forward with their lives. I saw a bunch of people. And then I went home and I grilled some food, and now I'm on this podcast with you guys, and we have a great guest. So yeah, I'm pumped. And my therapy session went awesome too today.
Dude, so, man, that's a hell of a day. That's an A+ day.
That's an A++ day.
Don't fuck it up here at the end, okay?
I probably might. So what do we got on the program today, Prof?
All right, let's start off here. Cynicism is easy. Optimism is powerful. Immolation of doubt, hope is possible. For our guest tonight, it was a long path to reach those lyrics, both in life and the album on whose final track they appear. That album, Alive, is available on Bandcamp in both full and instrumental versions, which you should definitely check out. And it's the latest release from a prolific artist, a poet, producer, and an MC whose proficiency on the boards is matched only by his depth of lyrical self-exploration. Please give a very warm Oddball Show return welcome to Mr. Louis M.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back, Louis. Good to have you on the show again.
Hey, thanks for being here, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Of course I will do this again. I had so much fun last time.
Well, last time you were on is because you had just dropped That New Violence, and now you've just dropped Alive. So
yeah,
we're so glad
that you the journey.
Yes. I'm glad we could come and talk more about Alive and promote it and I don't know. Thanks for being on the show again. We're gonna have a good time.
Well, we're definitely going to cover a lot of ground, but I think, Jason, you're right. We should just jump right into Alive. We've me and Jason have been talking a lot the past week or so as we get ready for the podcast about the album, and I really I love it, and it is a deep listen. Like you gotta listen more than once. And I don't know whether you want to start in with talking about the process of why Alive is alive. But I think that's really on the forefront of our brain is that difficult process that you went through, and then turning that into art is not necessarily like an on-off switch. How did that come to be?
Well, actually, it's I was sort of in a dark place towards the end of 2016. Was going through a lot of depression. It was just a bad time to be me for a good long time there, and I started making a project that was supposed to be sort of this nothing mixtape, and I just ended up not liking the music that was on it. So around the time that I went to like this really messy, horrible breakup that was entirely my fault, and also like a breakup with the group that I was with too. I decided to pour my energy into making an album that was like actually supposed to be like a thing, you know what I mean? And I started making a bunch of songs. I think the first song I released was Give Up the Ghost.
Yeah.
And that was released at the end of 2016. So, so at the end of 2016, like just a couple of days after that horrible, ugly breakup, it was like a therapeutic thing. And I remembered I was just feeling really, really super low. And it was probably the lowest I've ever felt. So I like went down to the basement of the apartment building that I was living in at the time, found this big, long, thick extension cord and made a noose out of it, hung it up, and just stared at it for like a really long time until a friend called me and invited me over to their place to eat some pizza or whatever, right?
Wow.
So that phone call literally saved my life and stopped me from doing that.
What a beautiful story.
Yeah, and as soon as I got home, I just I deep dive wrote Give Up the Ghost and then made the beat the next day.
So do you feel like, I know, that's insane. I mean, that's such an incredible story because, you know, the music has such emotion to it. Do you feel like the process of making the album was a part of your healing process or more documenting of it?
I'd say it was a little bit of both because, well, I'll say this. There was a point where, in the middle of 2017, the album was, for all intents and purposes, done. It was like 95% finished. Most of the tracks were done and in the can. But I listened back to it and then I realized, wow, I don't like this. It's really bad. And the reason why it was really bad was because it just felt like it was oppressive, like it was just sad without anything else, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't want to put people through that because I don't want to be put through that when I'm listening to anything. Really, it's just this long, oppressive, sludgy, endless dwelling on sadness. And at that point, it was about just getting this shit out of me, right?
Yeah.
But I realized that I successfully got it out of me, but I didn't make something good in the process. So I sort of deleted the whole thing. I think the only song that really survived from beginning to end, like from when it was created to now, was Give Up the Ghost.
Wow.
So,
I was wondering if you were going to say that you went and trashed the whole thing and started over. Wow, dude.
Yeah. So Give Up the Ghost was the only song that survived from beginning to end unchanged.
Wow.
Like there's, certain tracks that were there, at least in concept, that ended up getting like switched around, new beat, new lyrics, things like that. So, yeah, like that was when it became less about like getting it out of me and healing, and more about the process of documenting those feelings and how I'm coming out of it, because I wasn't all the way out of those feelings, it was trying to climb my way out of it was the focus.
Do you feel like well, I want to ask more about this in a second about your duality as both a producer and MC, because I find that to be a very fascinating part about hip hop. Somebody who can control both sides of it and start a production from beginning to end. Do you feel like that made it an easier thing for you to make and change the tracks? The fact that you were the producer behind them. If you had been rapping on somebody else's tracks, do you think it would have been as easy to tell the same personal story?
I haven't really thought about that. That's a good question, because I've never really rhymed over anyone's beats except my own.
That was my second question.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting because I'm rhyming on a friend's joint, and it's a beat that's not my own, and that it was just it's a weird experience, because I kind of know my voice and I kind of know the things I like to do musically. I know what I'm gravitated towards, so when I go into making something, I know I'm making something for me, and I know the sounds that I like. And
yeah, go ahead.
So it's difficult to say if this album would be exactly the same as it is now, if it was just, what's the standard now, which is just getting beats from a bunch of different people,
Yeah.
I miss the days of, one MC, one producer, and that's the whole thing.
It really makes a different product, man. It really does. We did that for one of our albums. We worked with one producer who's a real good friend of ours from beginning to end, and it's a different kind of sound. It just you get a complete kind of thing that you can't get in a different way. And there's nothing wrong with having different producers, but it's a different sound entirely.
Yeah. I feel like when you work with like one producer, you really get to know each other's sound, and you can sculpt to each other's strengths. So one bolsters the other in that sense.
Yeah. And I think when you make a beat, or when someone makes a beat for you, I guess the question is, do you have do you have the ideas right away of like how the tone of the song is going to be, depending on the beat, what the topic or the content, or does it have to do with something like, the question I wanted to ask you that was on my mind while you were talking about was the difference between That New Violence and Alive, and if you the beats on New Violence and Alive, the way that you produce them, that's the way your lyrics, the lyrics kind of, what's the word, dictate the what the sound's going to sound like in the song.
Well, I feel like I primarily always start with instrumentals, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I do, because really, when you make anything or when you listen to a song, that's the first thing you hear. You hear the beat first, and then the beat draws you into the lyrics. So I make sure that is good first before I do anything else. Because if the beat sucks, then why is anyone going to want to listen?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, the process, I think it's interesting that you asked me, the difference between this and That New Violence is that a lot of That New Violence was personal in a sort of macro and sort of like a broader sense, where it wasn't really about me. It was about things that affect me, while not really being about me or what I go through or who I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a much more political project. I felt like it's interesting, because I feel like on all my projects I kind of avoid myself. I avoid talking to myself. I avoid talking about myself or exploring any emotions in a real meaningful way.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, in that New Violence, when you were talking about there's a line that you say where you say, "If you get in the way of progress, we are enemies," and that was one of the lines you use, which is very interesting, because that's kind of what the New Violence talks about. What you were talking about, the political side, where, and I'm just guessing, Alive, there's songs at like one song you have, it's really a very cool song, where you say something like only losers last.
Only losers left alive.
Only losers left alive. Yeah. Which I don't know, and I just, the New Violence. If you're getting in the way of progress, we are enemies. Definitely, what you were saying, it speaks to the idea that there was a very hot political. I mean, it still is, but there was a very political landscape that was just toxic at that time that you released that album. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I noticed that,
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like with That New Violence, it was a reaction to what I viewed as a state of affairs that was really toxic for a lot of people. And it was about talking about that, and exploring that, and exploring why it's that way. Whereas I felt like Alive, I made the entire focus myself and exploring the uglier parts of myself, you know? So even like the album cover, I've never had an album cover that was just my face without effects on it. So that was another thing where I wanted it to be so I couldn't avoid myself while making it. So if I listen to it, I see myself. And when I listen to it, I hear myself, and it's about myself, you know?
So
about confronting all of this ugly inside of me. So yeah, it's entirely personal and sort of insular in a way.
Are you proud of this new album, Alive, and how it has? I mean, it's really a great album, and it's definitely one you just don't listen to once. You listen to it a few times, maybe 10, 20 times. Sort of something that you listen to just to, because it's just so varied, and there's a lot of really good production, which I also found in that New Violence, that great production. And I think that's one of the great things, that you are not only an MC, but you're also a producer. And you can definitely see that Alive shows a lot of artistic growth, and I gotta commend you, man. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I feel as though Alive is my favorite of the projects that I've worked on. Like, I just feel like it's more like it has more of a thematic focus. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where you listen to it and you kind of get enveloped in everything. That's what I want to do, because they don't make albums like that anymore, where it's thematically consistent all the way through.
Yeah.
One of the things about that I feel like you can really feel with the album is it isn't until the end that you really get a sense that you are kind of coming out the other side of whatever you're going through. It isn't until you get to, like, for real, tabula rasa at the end that then you feel like, all right, you seem to have come through in the clear, by that point. A little bit in praise and worship, but most of the way through, you're still clearly going through your shit. So I mean, I think that's pretty interesting, given how it's going to be have been a long road. Is that intentional, that it's a long road through the album itself before you actually see the light?
Yeah, actually, there's like a whole chronology that I came up with for the album, where it was so the beginning of the album, like the first track, Therapy. That's my phone. The first track, Therapy, is basically when I decided to go to therapy for the first time ever.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so that's sort of like like a point that's right after the rock bottom for me, which was Give Up the Ghost was the rock bottom. And all throughout the album, it's sort of flashing forward and flashing back to different points and different emotional states. Some are more positive, some are more negative. And I feel like the last few tracks, like Only Losers Left Alive and Praise and Worship and Tabula Rasa, are the points where I'm sort of discovering a sense of self and coming into a sense of self.
That's what I was thinking. It sounds like almost a celebration at the end of Tabula Rasa, because me and Prof were talking about pre-show. I mean, we were actually talking about the show, and we were listening to the music in the background, and the Tabula Rasa just sounded like a celebration. It was kind of involved, and it felt like it's like almost like it was happy, and it seemed like you were having a fun time recording that. Almost like it was like there was a lot of people when you were recording it. You know what I mean? It seemed like you were really kind of in the groove with Tabula Rasa.
Well, the interesting thing about that is it features some friends of mine, a group called Citrus Fair. They're amazing artists, and they actually co-produced the track with me. So that's like,
okay.
So it wasn't entirely my production. So it was like we did a bunch of stuff together. They came up with stuff. I provided the sample, and they sort of built everything around it, and that's also the vocals too.
Okay.
And I remember going there with my partner, and we literally just we we just sat down. The one someone I was providing samples, and someone started making like grooves around them and dropping
Yeah.
drums and things
Yeah.
like that. And then all of a sudden, like we were just writing. And
Yeah.
I remember I just like had like 32 bars
Nice.
done, and it was some of the best bar. It was like one of my favorite verses I've ever written. Was in Tabula Rasa, and
What was that verse? Can you repeat it?
well, it was just the whole thing was just one big epic verse.
That verse is really dope, dude.
Yeah.
So I felt like that one was sort of like a coming out of something at that point. And
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like a celebration, as I said. Yeah.
yeah, and the song, the album ending with that, and also ending with the voice that isn't my own, is a very intentional choice, because it's just like, it's not supposed to be like explicitly positive. It's just supposed to simulate of being alive, and at that point, it's just a rush of sounds and a rush of emotions that all simulate what it's like to be alive and to be human and be present in the moment.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah, definitely.
I love that verse. It's it's obviously the one we quoted in the intro, but maybe I'll find God, maybe I'll find me, and everything that comes with that. I'm no divine being, but what I am is a cathedral. And then you talk about the cathedral imagery. That whole verse is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I was really proud of it when I wrote it, and like hearing it back and hearing how it flows with everything else, like it makes me feel proud to be at this point now, when there was a point where I couldn't write the things I wrote when I wrote that verse.
Yeah.
And just really proud of what I accomplished, or what we accomplished with writing that song.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Yeah.
Can I ask this question real quick? Because I missed it before. You started talking about how in 2017 you really hated, or just didn't like the album, didn't feel like it was communicating the right thing. What tracks are new after that point?
Oh, good question.
What tracks are new?
Yeah, like from that point on, what were like the ones you added in? I know you changed a lot of everything else, but like, what are the new ones?
Well, I mean, like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Is new. I mean, some songs exist in name only, like Riot exists in name only. So Riot's one. Shit. That's a good question. Hold on. I need to look at the track list because I need to look at it myself.
Okay, so while you think about that too, the other thing that you get some great features on your album, and the dude I wanted to ask about is Grip. I like him a lot, and you mentioned him the last time you were on. Either he's on That New Violence, or you were talking about doing a show with him. I can't remember which, but I like him a lot, so I would like to know where I can hear more from him as well.
And Red.
He is indeed on. That New Violence. He was on the final track. And his verse on Alive is my favorite guest verse, I think.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was a good verse.
Yeah.
He was funny.
But in terms of him, I think he's on SoundCloud. I think he goes by Glass Eyeballs on SoundCloud. I'm not sure.
All right. I'll find him, and we'll make sure to get that in the partner link section, just because I don't know how many of your features you know personally. It seems like that would be somebody, since you have a standing relationship with him over several years, that you would know him. But like, I don't know how many of your features you know personally, but you pick some great people.
Oh, they're all people that I know, or at least were acquainted with. I think. I think Grip I knew in the poetry scene. He's a prominent poet, and he's performed with House Slam and a bunch of other people, and it was really dope. So yeah, he's dope. And Red Shades was someone I met via somebody else. And then I just asked them on a whim, hey, you want to be on this verse? And she was like, yeah, hell yeah, right? So
Nice.
a lot of these people were people I know or were at least acquainted with. I think the only person that I haven't met like in person really was the vocalist that's on Epiphany.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yeah, she's from Houston, Texas. I met her essentially through somebody else, through music, and yeah. So
Isn't that fantastic?
yeah, right. So I'm looking at the track listing now. I think Riot exists in name only. As a new beat, new lyrics, new everything. And Therapy was originally like the first verse of that was on a different beat, and it was originally called Inferno, right?
Oh yeah.
And I had a different beat on it, a much darker, sort of thing. And yeah, so really, in essence, the only tracks that survive was Give Up the Ghost, and that was it. Everything else is new.
Dope.
Yeah.
I think it's really it's stunning. I would like to hear those lost tapes, and then not in comparison, but like to hear the difference in talking about the same a similar situation or the same path anyway from two different points on the path, especially for a prolific artist, somebody who has a mass output like you do. I'd be really interested to hear those lost tapes. But
yeah, lost tapes.
Maybe that's down the road.
Should I do like a Nas lost tapes
kind of Nas lost tapes project? Yeah.
Songs that didn't make it.
Well, I think it's dope.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe. If I do a special edition of Alive, then those will be the B-sides or whatever.
Speaking of special editions, I couldn't. It blew my mind when I saw it. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do a special edition cassette. There probably are people out there doing it besides you, obviously. I don't think I've seen one, and I wish that I had done one for our album, because I don't even know that I have a cassette player to listen to it right now, but I wish I had one on cassette. I think that's dope. How many of those do you actually sell? And it's why do you do that?
Yeah.
Other than just being dope.
Well, I mean, I grew up in the era of cassette tapes.
Yep.
Cassette tapes and CDs, but we couldn't afford a CD player, so it was more cassette tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered, just playing stuff on the loudspeaker in our house, and then recording what was playing on the speakers with a cassette recorder, and just making mixes that way. It was like there's just something different about listening to something on cassette tape. It just it's a tactile feeling,
Right.
And I miss that feeling of having a thing in your hands, like a cassette player or a CD player or something along those lines. And that's something that doesn't really exist nowadays with everyone focused on streaming and all that,
I dig it. I really like it. It was it made me laugh, chuckle, and then be really jealous that I had not done it, and I don't have one of my own albums on cassette. I think it's dope.
Thank you.
So can you get both That New Violence and Alive both on Bandcamp, like the actual physical CD?
That New Violence, I think I'd have to make more copies.
Yeah,
that one has been out of print for a long time, but there's definitely more of Alive available.
Nice,
because it's a newer one. So
yeah, all right, cool.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah.
If you were to pick a favorite track, what would you pick?
Tabula Rasa for me. It's a great track. Did we lose Prof?
Oh shit! Sorry, I accidentally muted myself. I was talking the whole time.
I like
I was answering
Rasa.
this question.
I like Tabula Rasa and I like Therapy. I like the bookends of the show. I like Therapy, and I like Tabula Rasa. I think they're two interesting in how they juxtapose each other. You know?
And I really like Give Up the Ghost. I think that is a really dope, deep look at yourself. You know, that really rings with me, that Give Up the Ghost track.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I think my favorites. I have two favorites. It's Only Losers Left Alive, and
nice. That's a good one.
And Until It's Gone.
Yeah. Also, the one with which one is the one with red shades and
that's Only Losers Left Alive. Yeah.
Only Losers Left Alive. Yeah. That's a good one.
That, and I really like the imagery of museums and mausoleums. It's just by that point in the album, you're like, you're still feeling like you LOL at the idea of your music going on after you're dead, which is like, you know, I wish for you to be more hopeful at that point. But obviously, that's not the way. You know, well, I love museum and mausoleums though too.
I feel like you were climbing out of something. You know, I mean, museums and mausoleums. What are mausoleums? But symbol of death and things like that, and eternity. And I feel like you were climbing out of this depression, and I feel like you end alive on a hopeful note with Tabula Rasa, which I think is great. So I mean, the music does put you through something, you know, and it starts off with therapy, ends with Tabula Rasa. It's really it's not just it's not like one you just listen to once. You listen to it a couple times, and it's kind of a regular rotation if you really want to understand it, because your lyrics are pretty deep, definitely.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. And I made the album really to be listened to as like a continuous, like sit through it and listen to it kind of thing, you know, because they don't really they don't really make albums like that anymore where you sit down and listen to it. It's just like 15, 16 tracks of singles, you know.
Yeah, there's tracks.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's my favorite experience is going and buying. It would be my favorite experience of going and buying every hip hop album. Was go home, put on my headphones. Later on when I was allowed to smoke a blunt, and get into it from start to finish. I love that experience.
Yeah. I found like there's just certain albums that are sit down albums, like To Pimp a Butterfly, Layover by Evidence, or The Weatherman by Evidence, or even Cats and Dogs by Evidence, or Merge for President. Some of those albums. To Pimp a Butterfly. I find Kanye West. Some people, I know, some people don't like Kanye. And I don't want to get into it.
Okay, we're at 9:19. That is what? Let's see. 16 to 19 is 23, 27, 33 minutes. I'm wondering how long it would take us through every podcast for Jason steers it to Kanye. It's like his philosophical center. It just somehow
it's a dead horse, everybody. Let's beat it.
He just comes back to it like gravity. It's just
I know
crazy.
It's weird. Well, because I'm thinking of of albums that are like Low End Theory is like a very listenable album, or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. There's albums that are just that you sit down and listen to, and Black Star. Black on Both Sides.
Black
on Both Sides. God, I love that.
That might be one of my all-time favorites. Oh, sorry for cutting you off. What was that?
Which one? Black Star?
Yeah, Black Star.
I got Black Star in my car, regular rotation. I just play that over and over and over and over again, because you get something new from it every time. You pick up a quality lyric, or you pick up like another Mos Def lyric, and you're like, Jesus, they're so good. Like, how can you be so good at your craft? And I think maybe if you listen to good music, you excel as a musician or a poet or a writer or whatever. If you listen to something that's, better than you get better because you.
Well, yeah, that's how I inspire. You fill yourself up with, oh shit, you can do that. Oh shit, those are things you can explore. Black Star and Black on Both Sides to me are era defining, because they're I think 1998 and 99 like back to back.
Yeah.
And they're right at a point when hip hop was changing, and so they're making stuff at the same time. The Roots are making shit, and Erykah Badu and the whole Soulquarians crew. So it was like there was this energy that really I love 90s hip hop, and it felt like shit was about to blast off.
I even make it like a trilogy where it's Black Star, Black on Both Sides, and Reflection Eternal.
Yeah.
Where do you get Reflection Eternal? Because actually, I know where you get it, but there's Bahamadia on that as well. Because is Reflection Eternal with Bahamadia? Is that what that is?
Oh no! It was just it was Talib Kweli and High Tech.
Yeah.
High Tech. Yeah. But Talib Kweli and High Tech minus most stuff.
Yeah, that was his Thin Theory solo album. You know, it's them as a duo, really.
Yeah, because I remember hearing Bahamadia and Talib Kweli on Sound Bombing 2, and I always tried to find. I always wondered if Reflections Eternal was a Bahamadia backed band because she's really awesome, actually, and I haven't heard that much from her. You know.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure she's still doing shit. I actually was just listening to Three the Hard Way the other day. So yeah, that's a really good album.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
some of my favorite Primo instrumentals.
Primo, yeah. I like Primo.
Yeah.
Well, he's talking beats, man. He's talking producers, you know. Do you like Prime? Do you like them?
I do. This last one, I was a little, I liked it, but I didn't love it. You know what I mean?
You think it was rushed?
I don't know if it's rushed. I do think that, it's just like I can only excuse Royce the 5'9" rapping about rapping for so long.
That is a good way to put that.
Yeah, so I think he's capable of like giving more than he's actually giving, and I think like projects like Book of Ryan where he's like getting really personal and talking about shit, is a good example of him rapping about something except rapping, So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Lewis, I got to ask you a question. I know we're going to go to break for a minute, but what do you think of the Summer of Ye? Do you think those albums are rushed?
Okay. So I'll put it.
You got Kids See Ghosts, you got Nazir, you got Ye, and you have the other one, the R&B one. And
don't forget about Daytona.
And Daytona, of course. Pusha T, yeah.
I mean,
so there's 5 albums.
So they started strong with Daytona.
Yes.
Daytona was a strong start. That album was fucking great.
Yes, it
fucking
was.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing album. I thought Ye was
rushed.
Kind of. It was I don't think it was rushed. I think it was mediocre. I think that. Yeah, I don't know. It's like. You know what I compare it to? It's like if you were to like you wanted to make soup, but you didn't know how to make soup, so you just take like water and the leaves and then boil that, and then that's your soup. Yeah, it's like that to me.
Holy shit!
Just not enough. Not enough.
That was beautiful.
That was probably the best.
Just not enough. You're trying to make soup and all you have is broth.
You have water and bay leaves and that shit, and that is gonna be a gross soup.
Because that's what I felt the same way about Ye. Like I like Ye, but I think that it definitely feels like, all right, you just farted this out. Like you went into Montana, like, and here are my tracks that I just came up with this week about TMZ and shit.
Yeah,
here you go. And dude, it's Kanye. We've talked about this on a couple of other podcasts. Like on every podcast.
I guess I gotta stop. I have a problem.
You do have a problem.
I have a problem.
As somebody who knows things about having problems, you know how to then facilitate your way out of that. But maybe not. Maybe you should. Maybe
Kanye, I got a discussion problem.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I love Kids See Ghost stuff.
You do? Okay.
That one felt like it. That one felt like what Ye should have felt like. To me, that is.
But you're see, this is so interesting. But you're a producer, so like to me, Kids See Ghosts was like, this sounds cool. Like I respect this, but I don't like it that much because it's like soundscapes that I'm not too interested in. I want to like it more than I like it. Like it sounds good, it sounds quality, but I don't like it that much. But it's so much sound and interestingness to it that I bet you as a producer, that really sparks something for you.
I mean, it's that, but I also felt like, well, I think the production is better, but I also feel like the content, at least what they were going for, it was the same thing as what Kanye was going for on Ye, but I felt like they hit that lofty footing in a much more convincing fashion on Kids See Ghost than they did on Ye. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just a more consistent, thematically rich listen for me. That is. So,
can I ask you an oddball question, Lewis?
Wait, you didn't let him finish talking about Nas.
Oh, he didn't talk about Nas. I was just about to go somewhere else because you were talking about the wall of sound, and it made me think of Tribe Called Quest. We'll talk about that later. Continue.
Okay. So Nasir.
Love it, hate it, what?
That's
Okay.
how I feel.
So he just
I feel the same way.
Like it's you
don't like the Slick Rick.
like the Slick Rick track is the best track on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there's a lot of struggle bars. Like he's like it sounds like I've never heard Nas sound like he can't keep up. And on this album, it sounds like he can't keep up.
So a departure from Life Is Good then?
Yeah, because you remember like listening to Life Is Good, and it sounded like he sounded like re-energized. It sounds like
awesome.
Like he just discovered like another gear that he didn't know he had on that joint. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow, that's good insight, man.
Yeah, and Nasir didn't sound like that. It sounded like he sounded his age for the first time on record.
Wow, yeah.
Right? Yeah. And the production didn't do him any favors either. Like I thought like a lot, like some of it was good. Like I love Kid Top Shot the Kid. I like the beat for Adam and Eve. I like the beat for what is it?
Everything?
No. I hate everything.
Everything's a Kanye song, right?
Well,
it sounds more Kanye than Nas. Nas has never done a song.
It does sound Kanye.
Yeah, it sounds like a guest spot for Nas in a more of a Kanye song.
It probably has the most asinine, annoying chorus I've ever heard in a rap song. If I could change anything, and I mean anything, I would change everything.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
That was dope. That was
like,
dope.
For real. Like, and the song was just like, empty bumper sticker wisdom platitudes that you see, basic motherfuckers on Tumblr post. And it's just like, okay, that's cool. I'll go to Tumblr for that. Don't put that in my rap shit,
And don't put that in a Nas track for sure. You know?
Yeah, Nas is not known for I see everything,
right?
Everything. Yeah, I know, but
and it's so long. That track is
that
long. It feels like it goes forever.
But I will say one thing, Lewis, and I know we got to go to break, but I hate 7-track albums.
I love
them. Do away with 7-track albums. It's not it's an LP. It's an EP. It's not an LP. Wait, EP, LP. LP.
It's a short story, not a novel. It's beautiful.
No, but albums like To Pimp a Butterfly is like 13, 14 songs.
Sure, and that's also beautiful.
Damn is also 12, 13 songs. And I guess I'm just talking about Kendrick Lamar. But like, you can't get enough out of an album in 7 songs.
Well, I'll say this. I think that an album becomes an album when it's thematically rich and has a lot of layers of concepts to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter the track listing. Like for me, like 7 tracks worked on Kids See Ghost and Daytona. Those felt like full meals, Like you ended up full by the time you listened to those projects. So I mean, it really depends on the project and it really depends on the artist. But you know, I'll say this: I would take 7 tracks over 25 any day.
So you don't want like All Eyes on Me?
I don't want a
double
Scorpion.
disc.
I don't want a Drake Scorpion.
Yeah.
Because that was 25 tracks, and about 20 of those were filler.
Yeah, but like okay, but Life After Death was 2 albums. But All Eyes on Me was 2 albums.
Yeah.
You know,
But again, those are not really. Again, if you listen to those and you're being real deal honest with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to those projects, they don't play all the way through from beginning to end, like they should. You know, like I think a double disc album, at least in this day and age, is a cynical move because it's based around business and streaming numbers. It ensures that they have higher streaming numbers. And back then, you'd only do a double disc if you wanted to sell more records, because when you sell a record, that counts as 2 records.
Wow, Lewis.
So
yeah, dude.
Yeah. You know
That's why Speakerbox and Love Below is one of the only. Well, I think it's Diamond. It's one of the few like
Speakerbox.
Yeah, because it's a double album. Speakerbox and Love Below together.
Yeah.
It's one of the top selling albums in hip hop
No,
because it counts as 2. It's also fucking dope.
Yeah.
The thing that is unique about that is that it's not just a double disc of one album. They're actually 2 different projects.
They really are, yeah.
Prof, have we already talked for an hour? Have we already talked for an hour, guys?
Maybe.
Not quite. Not quite. We're nearing the hour. We're not quite. That's fine, man.
All right. Well, you know, it's not like a 1-word answer when you say, 7 tracks, and you mentioned Kanye, and it's you just can't. You got to finish the discussion.
We mentioned Kanye, and you get those little swirls like in a cartoon in your eyes, and then just you lose all sense of time and space.
Exactly. Yeah. When you brought Kanye up, I'm like, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do it.
It really is something. Whether you like the albums or not, a lot they're better than a lot of music that has come out in a long time. And the output this year from a lot of artists. We mentioned Black Thought's album on one of the last podcasts. Good. There's a lot of music coming out right now that it makes me feel good for hip hop that there's at least shit to go out and talk about rather than being like
Black Thought album's only 4 songs.
I think it's 5, right?
5. Yeah.
Doesn't matter, man. They're bars upon bars.
Yeah, you need more. You need more from. Put out 5. It's Black Thought can put out a 7 song album, not 5. Come on, what's going on? Why would you put out a 5? That's Lewis. Would you put out a 5-song album and call it an album?
If I felt confident in those 5 songs, yes, I would.
All right.
Right. I mean, it's about giving your listeners something that they want to listen to. So whether that is a EP worth of really great songs, or you try to stretch that into an LP of really great songs and half of them suck, it's a no-brainer for me. I think 7 tracks is a good length to do something interesting. You can't explore the same length that you can with 14 tracks, but you can certainly do something cool, and you can ensure that you give your listeners something that they want to hear, rather than force them to listen to 2 hours or whatever the hell Scorpion is.
Oh,
Jesus. I don't need that. I do not need that.
I feel like with the we gotta go to break, but I feel like the just the attention span of people has gotten shorter. So I know my attention span has gotten way shorter with music because of the wide availability. So maybe putting out a double Drake album, would appeal to some people, but some people would be like, fuck that. I got too much music to listen to.
Yeah, right? Yeah. There's too much good stuff out there to spend time with the 25 track out.
Right. Just this.
All right, Prof. Let's go.
All right. So you are correct that we did cruise through most of the Oddball Show hour. That's okay. We're on the internet and we're in charge, so we get to do as long as we want. But we should go pretty kind of rapid fire with our break segment here. All right. So the Oddball Show is a collaboration between Oddball Magazine and JP Lime Productions. You can find us and the podcast itself at our separate websites, oddballmagazine.com and jplimeproductions.com. You can also find it, due to the magic power of the internet, streaming live right now on our Twitter and Facebook. It goes through YouTube, and then later we upload it to SoundCloud and then iTunes and Stitcher. So pretty much anywhere that you want to go to look for a podcast, and some places that you would not ordinarily look for a podcast, you can find us. Please come check us out and follow us on our various social media platforms, which we'll talk about in just a second when we sign off. On the website, on JP Lime Productions and Oddball Magazine, there will be a pertinent link section where you can find all the information that we've talked about. You can get a direct link to Lewis's Bandcamp, which you should follow post haste, and go check out his catalog, not just Alive, but his entire catalog, which is extensive. And he gave you Alive, the beat version, in case you wanted to dig into your own introspection and start freestyling some of his dope beats. So go check that out. We'll get into what's going on right now. I'll start off because I'll go quick, and then we'll flip over to Oddball Magazine. jplimeproductions.com. We are your world with a crunchy hip-hop center. We are a music hip-hop group. You can find all of our music and our videos up at jplimeproductions.com. You can also find recurring posts from our good friends at Oddball Magazine. We're also going to start doing a thing. We are collaborating a little bit with Rec Shop Movement up in the northern end of the state. So I've been working on their hip-hop events page for Justice Born. He runs a lot of good shit up there. You should go check out Ironbound, which does a lot of live music on Saturday afternoons in Lynn, I believe. But I've been updating their hip-hop events page, so there's a lot of great shows coming up, including Dark Matter, who's one of my favorite groups performing right now. They just did Warped Tour, and they are performing August 18th at their homecoming show. I forget where that one is, but that's August 18th. That's at Sony in Cambridge. So that's a show that I'm definitely going to go make sure I check out. Smith & Weston is doing a hip-hop luncheon at Slade's Bar and Grill, which seems like a really cool idea, and I like them a lot. Ski Master Slum God is coming to Lowell Auditorium, and Michael Christmas, who's a local guy, went to LA, came back, is at Brighton Music Hall on September 14th. And this summer, all summer long, there's been a lot of great underground hip-hop music happening in Boston and around, so definitely go download the Rec Shop Movement app, and on there's a hip-hop events page that you should keep up on and go see some great shows. I will be uploading as many as I can possibly find. You should also, over at jplimeproductions.com, you should check out 1981 & Co. is the latest venture from our good friend Spaceman, who's part of JP Lime. It is a photography and visual art gallery that he does on his Instagram. So you should follow 1981 & Co. on Instagram to liven up your Instagram feed and to order yourself some Boston-based, really good art. Go check him out. In addition, he is also in a play right now at the Strand Theater called The Leftovers, which you should definitely go check out. I'll be going in, what's today? Tuesday, this weekend. But you should go check that out at the Strand Theater. It is pay what you decide to pay, but it's a really great show, and it is. We want to do as much as we can to support what they're doing. So go check that out as well. That's all I got for what's going on at JP Lime Productions. Please come check us out. Follow us at JP Lime on Twitter and Instagram, and JP Lime Productions on Facebook. Jason,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's doing great, man. He's really he's in it right now, but he is. It's a great thing for him. It's his first acting experience, and I'm really proud of him.
Awesome, man. Shout out to Spaceman.
Yep.
So over at Oddball Magazine, that's oddballmagazine.com. I wanted to just briefly tell you that you can find the Oddball Show podcast on our site. You can, if you go, you can see all our weekly things that we have going. We have the Autism Review, the Secrets of Skinny People. We have Underground Garden. We have, James Van Loy and everything. But we also have submission guidelines. So you guys can go to our submission guidelines and be a part of Oddball Magazine by sending us a poem, a piece of art, or something, and be on our website. And maybe you'll be an Oddball artist or part of the Oddball family. So, we have books for sale on the Oddball Magazine bookstore. You can get Julia Carlson's new book. You can get Martha Boss's new book, my book, Chad's book, Joe Gouveia, the late Joe Gouveia's book. You can get all those books at our bookstore on the site. We have our normal usual suspects. We have The Odds by Bill Harvey, which is a comic strip. Bill Harvey is from Detroit, and he created a nice comic strip with, as well as Jeffrey Fallon, who has The Secrets of Skinny People. We have those guys on Monday, kind of a light little comic. They're both comics. We have those. And on Tuesday, we have Epic Autism Review with Fleming's Bobrin. And then my poem that I'll read at the end of this podcast, Jagged Thought 235, you will, parentheses, never get it right. And we have a lot of stuff at Oddball as usual. On Wednesday of last week, we had a poem by Holly Day with artwork by Ira Joel Haber. And on a poem by Dirk James and photography by Steve Warren, who's a friend of the show. And I'm just kind of going down the line. Poem by Vivian Wagner with artwork by Justin Evans, and our usual columnists. We have columnists every day, and we have new poets every day, like Holly Day, Dirk James, Vivian Wagner, Sandy Seeger, with recurring artists like Jennifer Matthews and definitely Glenn Bowie, who's been part of us for a long time. I'm thinking about updating the Oddball artists and putting some of the new artists on the show. Oddball Magazine's currently looking to upgrade the website, and we're looking. I mean, we have a lot of good growth on the website. We're still keeping it going. I think a redesign's in the future, Prof. I think it looks great for where it is now, but I think I'm gonna try and make it more interactive.
Growth is never bad, bro.
Yeah,
growth is never bad.
I think it looks great now. It's very user friendly, but I think I can do better. So I'm going to keep on working on it. If any graphic designers want to reach out to me, they can email me at oddballmagazine@gmail.com. And if you're interested in advertising to Oddball Magazine, email us at oddballmagazine@gmail.com as well. And that's us. We're poetry, art, and entertainment for the masses. You can find the podcast on our show, on our magazine. You can subscribe to the podcast and buy our books, please. And,
books are good.
Books are good. And more importantly, become part of our magazine by sending us a poem or sending us some art, because we would love to showcase your work. Okay? Sure. That's what's going on at Oddball Magazine.
Let me just mention this real quick, too. I try to mention it during my What's Going On segment, but the theme music you heard at the beginning is our good friend DJ LSP. He's a great Boston hip-hop producer. He did all of the beats on our album Blue Star Boulevard, which you can find at jblinproductions.com. And somebody you should definitely go check out. We thank him for all the contributions he's made to our musical career, and he is that dope music that you heard at the beginning. So nice. Go check him out. LSP 1200 on the Twitter and SoundClouds. All right, so like we said, we kind of cruise to the Oddball Show hour. That is okay, but we're gonna kind of limit the second segment. We're gonna go a little bit rapid fire, and then we're gonna get into some list of 10, and we're gonna do a jagged thought. So yeah, man. Let's find out a little bit more about Louis M. and what else you got going on. Your where you go from, as far as hip hop, where you go from Alive, and then what else is going on, either as far as poetry or anything else that you're working on. That was kind of an open-ended, but I can narrow it down a little bit here. What's up with Flatline? What happened, or where are you poetically? If not that.
Well, I feel like we were just in different places in our lives, and it's just, like we all wanted to do separate things, and that the group wasn't really sustainable at that point. So, it wasn't like anything bad. It was just, it was just a natural moving on process.
Absolutely.
The group. But it still sucked because, these are, people I consider my best friends, and, that we don't really get to collaborate as much anymore is a thing that, sad for me. You always want to have that community of people that you can trust that, that are, your artistic, like peoples and arms,
Yep.
And
Yep.
when you don't have that, it's a depressing thing. And so, but I think at the same time, though, I see all of us flourishing in our own individual ways, doing exactly the things we want to do. And I think Flatline sort of disbanding was probably a good thing for all of us in the long run, which is crazy for me to say that now, but yeah.
And that was I think you mentioned earlier in the cast, but that was around the same, that was a couple of years ago that happened. Where do you live poetically now? What have you been working on as far as poetry goes, or has it been more steered into music and other media and platforms?
Well, it's interesting because I feel like I put my poetry, my music in different boxes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. So when I'm in music mode, I'm in only music mode, and that's all I'm working on. When I'm in poetry mode, poetry is all I'm working on, and I'm not even thinking about music. You know what I mean? So with the album finished, I've slowly been crawling my way back into poetry. Like shorter things here and there. Not trying to go too crazy too quickly. But at the same time, I also have another project down the line that I'm working on with somebody else. So that's a thing.
Music or poetry?
Music.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna end up pushing your poetry phase, off to the side again.
Yeah, but it's a good thing because it's a collaborative project. So it's not just me entirely. It's someone else. So it's half the burden of conceptualizing something yourself is not really a thing anymore because you have someone else that you can rely on to help you sort of realize the vision of something. So
wait,
yeah.
So hold on, are you making beats for an MC or are you rapping over somebody else's beats?
I'm making it's a collaborative project, as in it's my beats with another MC and then me rapping over some of those beats.
Over somebody else, some of those beats, is that what you said, or somebody else's beats?
No, some of those beats.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to think that we were going into revolutionary territory where you rapped over somebody else's beats.
Nope.
Nope.
I
love it.
So, that's what's happening down the line. I have a concept for another solo album that is a long way off. I'm not planning on starting work on it seriously until next year. But it's a project that I think I want to call Let's Be Friends.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's a long way off, though.
Cool. Well, let us know when it happens, because we'd be happy to promote. We'd love to push your shit, man. We really I love your music, but I having you come on and talk about music. We love artists who are into talking about both their craft and about the art form itself that they're involved in. So we'd be happy to help push, man. Come on back.
Yep.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about what I do.
Of course. Jason, unless you got anything else, I think we should jump into list of 10.
List of 11. Yeah.
The list of 11.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So, Lewis, though you have no idea what you're in for, are you ready for the list of 10?
A list of 11.
I don't know.
Cool.
I know.
So normally, list of 10 is how we end out the podcast. Tonight, Jason has decided to edit it to list of 11.
List of 11.
Which we will get to in just a second. All right. So, Lewis, number 1.
Of the list of 11.
What time and place would you like to be if not here and now?
What time and place would I like to be if not here right now? You know, I really like this class I'm teaching, so tomorrow at that class.
Nice.
Class. Nice, man. So just a quick fast forward. That's all. Not asking a lot from time travel. Just
Well, that's really good
just a
when
little
you
jump.
like what you're doing so much that you just want to time travel to that time.
You know,
That's great.
I'm glad for both of you that you're in that position of liking your day job, because that'll fill you up.
Yeah,
that'll put you in a good mental space, you know.
Absolutely, my job is so rewarding. So, but this is the list of 11.
So number 2, Lewis, what is the greatest advice you've ever received?
The greatest advice I ever received was be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah. A friend told me that, and it's, advice I take to heart, and it's advice I give up to other people, Just be kind to yourself.
Sometimes the simplest little pieces have the deepest meaning, man. It's not always easy to be kind to yourself. It really is.
Exactly.
Number 3, what would your superpower be?
Teleportation.
Teleportate. You said that with a quickness too, or at least definitive. Some people waffle. I don't know. I always think flight, but then like psychic powers and other things creep into my brain. But like, I really want to fly.
Yeah, I thought about this. Teleportation easily.
Right on.
It makes life so much easier.
Like Nightcrawler kind of deal.
Yeah.
I love Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler was one of my favorite guys.
Such a good guy too. Number 4, Lewis.
Charities. Go ahead.
Number 4, Biggie or Tupac?
Biggie.
Biggie. That's one of the few Biggies we've ever had on the poll here. I mean, everybody loves both, but I think more people. I'd probably, if I had to estimate, 65 to 70% of people go Tupac.
Yeah. Well, I've always been more of a Biggie guy. Nothing against Tupac. It's just, that's
you just are one or the other, man. It just is how it is. You love both, but you are by nature one or the other. Exactly. Number 5, who is your favorite person?
Oh, just general, my favorite person?
Yeah.
Shit. That's a really vague question. So not even
it certainly is.
So who is my favorite person? I think my favorite person right now is my partner.
You're right on.
Like she's doing exactly the shit that as she wants to do, living out her dreams, and I think that's beautiful.
Excellent. Number 6, what is your quest?
To be better.
To be better. I like that one.
Be better.
Again, simple, but really succinct, and like, it ain't easy to always be better.
No, it's not at all.
It's a simple concept, but it ain't easy.
Quest is
quite easy to be the worst. Yeah.
Yes. You constantly improve. That is the idea. That's the quest. Constantly reinvent yourself.
Number 7, fill in the blank. All you need is.
And I'm assuming that I can't say love.
You can say whatever you want, man. It's your world. And that very well may be the answer, man.
All we need is okay, I'll say this. All you need is a political system that is in 2 parties.
Nice. Yep. Yo, that would change a lot of things.
So what?
And overturning Citizens United would too.
Oh yeah.
That would change a lot of shit. All right, Mr. Jason.
Yes, sir.
Your special question. Number 7B or 7.5.
A list of 11.
11. What is your special question there, sir?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Is it okay? New Kanye or old Kanye?
Old Kanye every day.
Old Kanye every day.
Yep. Every day. Any time of the day, any time of the week, old Kanye.
Yo, I mean, the first 3, are hip hop classics. The college set, it's hard to say they aren't. And we talked about this a little bit the other day, Jason. It's hard to say that most of the other ones aren't classics.
Yeah, there's really not one that is not really a classic.
He's just can certainly like could see some debate, but like
this is experimental. He uses this as a painting. Now it's all over the place.
Well, let me ask y'all this: Do y'all believe that like those 3 albums have stood the test of time? Like you could listen to them now, and they could have come out now and had the same impact as when they came out then.
Yep.
Graduation, late registration, and college dropout.
Yeah.
Oh, they're very great albums. Yeah, they would still flip hip hop on its head if it came out right now.
Yep.
Dig it.
Yeah, I do. In fact, I forget which one I turned on the other day, but I was rocking some Kanye. After the June of Kanye, I had to go back and dial it back a little bit, and all 3 knock.
Yeah, they do. They knock.
Yeah, they do.
Knocking on the door. Knocking on his door. knock everybody.
List of 11, number 8.
List of 11.
Number 8. Rock, paper, or scissors, Lewis?
I've always been more of a scissors guy.
Scissors.
Yeah.
Always been more of a scissors guy.
I'm a paper guy because I'm a writer, so paper.
And you're afraid of scissors because it just cuts up your work. You can never replace it.
Well, I run with scissors.
That's dangerous. From what I've heard, that's ill-advised. Number 9. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Chanel Reeves better. So I got to come up with something else. What do I want to be when I grow up? I want to be okay.
Be okay. There we go.
Just open-ended,
Like it. I just want to be okay, man. And then number 10, which is the so I stole this idea from James Lipton on Inside the Actor Studio, who stole it from another show, and so on and so on. This is the only one that I kept from his. Number 10. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear St. Peter say when you reach the pearly gates?
What? Okay. I would like to hear. Yo, Lewis, I think your music's real good. Here we go.
Come on in, man. Your music's dope.
I've been rocking your stuff on my iPod.
Yeah.
You guys still have iPods up here?
St. Peter's got an iPod.
That seems crazy.
They never evolved. They have the ones with the turn dials too.
For some reason, Heaven just decided that was the top of the technology. They did not need to go any
got
further.
a Walkman.
Really, this is the best way to listen to music. I don't know what they try to keep doing. They really had it right.
One of the Angels had an iPhone, and that was just like, nah.
Y'all ruined the shit with streaming.
Peter was like, hey, Lewis, I got your live tape. I'm rocking everything.
It's like one of the few from the last decade that you're able to listen to. They only have cassette players. That would be so dope.
All right. Well, that was the list of
11. Thank you very much for 10. Well, I counted his as 7.5. New Kanye, old Kanye wedged its way in the middle there.
It's 10.5. It's 10.5.
So that's our list of 10. Thank you very much for participating, Mr. Lewis. This has been the Oddball Show. We've had a great time, and you really should go check out Alive and all of Lewis's music, and keep an eye out for upcoming music. You can find all the necessary links, including I'm gonna myself research some of the guest appearances, including the grip, and put that up in our pertinent link section. But you can also find Lewis's Bandcamp directly from either JP Line Productions or Oddball Magazine in the pertinent link section. And we really appreciate your time, man. Thank you very much.
And,
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And not only on your Bandcamp, Lewis, you can get the limited edition cassette that St. Peter's rocking. And you can get the CD and cassette both for $12 on your Bandcamp, right? And CD for $10. So yeah, you guys, you got to go out and you got to listen to Alive. It's a fantastic album.
And you got to listen to it on your Walkman, like the two-tone
on your
had like
Walkman.
the little plastic that made it waterproof. That
You could dip.
That's when you got to listen to it on.
Listen to it in the bath and with your Walkman.
Yeah, but it has to be the waterproof one that had like the extra layer.
Like
That was one I could never afford.
I couldn't afford that shit. I afforded a Crawlman because I couldn't get a Walkman.
A Crawlman.
A Crawlman. A crab.
Oh, this podcast is ridiculous.
People. All right, that was a South Park reference. All right. So yeah, you can get Lewis's stuff, all Lewis's stuff at lewism.bandcamp.com. So check that out. And the limited edition cassette, is someone designing those like the images for each one of them or what?
Oh, well, all the cover art is me. So actually the drawing of me that was done for the cassette tape was done by a friend of mine, Catherine Weiss.
Yeah,
and that was really dope.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So support local music, support music like Alive, which is a fantastic album, and also check out That New Violence. Lewis M is going places. He's a fantastic person, a good guy. We're glad you're on the show, man. You're a friend of ours, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored, man.
Absolutely. All right, Prof. Let's send it home.
Yeah, dog. So please come check us out at JP Line Productions and Oddball Magazine. It is a collaboration between these two entities. And please support local art by going out and checking out your local hip-hop artists and your local poets, wherever they may be performing live and for your pleasure. Follow us at JP Line. Follow me at Dr. Prof Esquire. And come check out everything that we're about. We really have a lot to the Boston art scene, Boston music scene is very alive and collaborative. So we want to contribute a lot. Please come and work with us.
Check out oddballmagazine.com and follow our Twitter at ManTheStorm and at oddballmagazine.com. I'm also on Instagram at Insta Oddball Magazine. I think that's how you say it, right? Maybe.
At Insta Oddball? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Like your Insta is Oddball Magazine.
Yes, I guess.
Okay, cool. All right. You can Snapchat me, y'all.
How do you? Am I pointing this thing the right way? How do you use it? All right. Give these people a jagged thought, would you?
If you like our podcast, please leave a review on iTunes. If you find us on Stitcher, please leave a review and tell your friends to come check out the Oddball Show, because we are a dope ass podcast. And I'm going to end this podcast with what we do every week, the Jagged Thought of the Week. This is Jagged Thought 235. Lewis, thanks for being on the program again, man. We really appreciate it. It was always a pleasure to have you on the show, and please come back again.
I shall.
All right, awesome. This has been the Oddball Show, and this is Jagged Thought 235. You will, parentheses, never, parentheses, get it right. Yes, I am frozen. The flies, they sit with me a moment. No, I'm not broken, but I could break, but I won't. I have this tomato brain. It's ripe, and when picked apart, it grows seeds again. You balance me, Mr. Magician, up to your old tricks again. A beast with the pen, a regular Walt Whitman, words spoken. The audience liked me then. It's funny how you forget the instant she goes away. That fickle bitch, faith, fame, whatever word game you want to play. The schizo is down low effective, I guess. Better than the witness or the hospital dress. Better than the microcosm of sanity and sense. Is this apathy or empathy? Your guess. A name crossed off the checklist. Medicinal madman with a stiff neck. A broken collar, a dog leash. Drinking again? Depression, come in. You are missed at breakfast. Sit next to the king and the princess. I got this. It's an anvil and a big heart. Written in prose, you can call me when you're ready to start for the pen to move across the parliament. I read it in a book. Champagne wishes and lithium dreams. Love. Loaf, that's what tennis players call zero. Big goose egg, zilch, nada. Where did the rain go? The Desperacidas of Sierra Nevada, the CEO of Zero. And that was the poem Jagged Thought 235. You will, parentheses, never, parentheses, get it right. And this has been the Oddball Show. Come back in 2 weeks when we are going to be interviewing Eliza Williamson of NAMI. That's the National Alliance of Mental Illness. So we'll see you next next in 2 weeks. All right. So have a good one and be good to each other. Yeah. All right. Yeah. We're out.
Peace.
This is the Oddball Show, a podcasting collaboration from JP Line Productions and Oddball Magazine.